Hey guys, a little bit of a late entry here, but I plan to do reflections. I didn't do that. Just to, I got to home late and then we had some other stuff going on. So Anna was tired, so we didn't do much else. And I was focusing on some other things, and I got caught watching some things. Anyway, I thought I would just go ahead and finish reviewing the rest of American Horror Story Season 1. I touched up on a few of the ones in Season 2, but that season isn't complete. But I thought I would talk about the remaining episodes that I watched the last 2 days. I just watched the last episode, which I'll talk about in a minute. So the next episode after the drive-in one was... What was it? I believe it was the Santa one, the Naughty List, I think is what it's called. So it was about these 4 influencers called the Bro House, which was just like, what in the hell? It was definitely a stand-up of influencers and all that. But, like, it was one of those things where it's the horror thing that a lot of people do in slashers, where they make the characters completely unlikable so that you can't wait for them to die. And they definitely die in vicious ways. And Danny Trejo plays a Santa Claus, a mall Santa. And so, yeah, he's about the saving grace. But, like, yeah, the rest of it was just like, I want these guys to die. And then they did, so that was satisfying. I get what they were going for with the send-up of that, but I would have rather had something else for a Christmas horror. Even the Danny Trejo being this killer Santa thing could have worked, but I mean that has been done before too. So that wasn't too bad. Not as good as I liked the drive-in one better for that one. Then after that, it was what was it? Baal. I think it's like a demon or something like that. It had Billy Lord, Carrie Fisher's daughter, and she's wanting to have a baby and all that stuff. But she keeps going through all the IVF treatments and not being successful. I'm trying to keep my voice down because Anna has to get up in the morning, so I'm just trying to keep it. So if I'm not overly energetic like I usually am, that's why. Anyway, but she's trying to have a baby with her husband. They go through all the IVF treatments, and they're just not successful. And this girl at the counter gives her this little, like, what are they called? Talismans, I guess, to put under her bed, and then they should be able to conceive. And then she does. She has the baby. But then she's having problems connecting with the baby, that she keeps seeing these visions of a demon looking over the baby and all that stuff. It's a very Rosemary's Baby and all that. But it wasn't bad. It was decent. And then you find out, of course, the husband's was totally in on it with a bunch of his friends who were trying to scare her, this demon thing, and the other girl that gave her the thing has been having an affair with her husband, which, that one kind of annoyed me. It's just like I saw it coming, but it was just like, how many times do we have to have the husband just be a sleazebag, a cheating bastard? Are there any good guys? There's actually some decent, nice, married men who actually are mature and are dedicated to their wives. Not like this guy. But yeah, it's so other than that, it was nice. But then it ends up the demon is real and ends up killing that, and the husband goes away for murder basically because he was the only one they survived. And then she has the demon say, "Give me another baby." So that was a little weird, but not bad. It was it was very much Rosemary Baby's influenced, much like I saw a lot of influences besides the Murder House ones. Like, the drive-in, you could say, was kind of like the Crazies a little bit, not fully. And then this was kind of Rosemary's Baby. And the next one basically should have just been called, Wrong Turn or Hills Have Eyes, because that's basically what it was. Basically, this couple takes their kid to camping, and then the kid goes missing, and then 10 years go by, and they're divorced now, and they're split up or separated, and then this guy says he can help them find their kid, but, and then you have all these, like, feral people, basically, who, like, are attacking them, and then they finally see their kid, and he's all mangled up, his teeth are all mangled up and stuff, and he's sitting on some throne like he's 3PO and with the Ewoks, and then they ask, one of the feral people says, "Who are these people?" And then after acknowledging that it was his mom and dad, he's just like, "Dinner." And so they just get, I'm like, damn, that kid was cruel. But I thought it was, rather than just being like, "Oh, mommy, daddy, everything's okay." I was like, man, that kid totally got brainwashed. So that wasn't bad. That was decent. Then we came to Game Over. Just why? So what does Game Over do? We go back to the freaking murder house again. And this one was even more pretentious because it was very like, this woman's trying to make a video game for her son based off of Murder House because he's a big American Horror Story fan. And there's a lot of all these like wink, wink, nudge, nudge acknowledgments to the camera. And Dylan McDermott came back as a ghost. And of course we had Cindy Crawford's shitty acting daughter again. And I'm sorry, by the third time I had to see their love story with Scarlett, I'm already over it. I'm just like, I don't care about these characters. Please stop showing them. Just like, go the fuck away. I don't care about this lesbian love story. It's fine, you want to have that in there, but I don't care. This is supposed to be a horror story. Like, can we actually have some horror in it? You know, and it's like I told Anna, I said, it's basically the equivalent of like sniffing your own farts, which I know sounds gross, but it's very much just like, Murder House was such a masterpiece. Oh, how can I completely destroy it but think I'm so brilliant? This is what you can do. And it just ends up being all meta, and then she's in the video game, but then she's not. It's just, yeah, Scream, New Nightmare, they all did this stuff. You're a little late to the game with the whole fourth wall breaking. And here's my problem, especially. I mentioned with the dollhouse, with the witch thing. At least the whole episode wasn't about the witches. It wasn't going into the witch house and all that. Apocalypse did that instead. But, like, you already had 2 freaking episodes of the murder house. And here's the thing, you had to suspend disbelief a little bit, because at no point in any of those 3 episodes do we wonder, like, oh, where was Dylan McDermott in those first 2 episodes? Why is his ghost suddenly here? Oh, it's a video game. Okay, then why are the other characters, like Tate and all these other characters, not there? Oh, because we couldn't get the actors to come back. And then they just, like, write off the dads, the gay dads from the first, like, oh, we couldn't get Matt Bomer to come back for these episodes. Couldn't you blame him? It's like, then don't do it. That's why you don't go back to things. That's why you don't go back to Murder House. This is kind of like the equivalent of going back to a prequel, and like, or trying to make a sequel into something that was really just, it was a standalone season, and it should have been left alone. And there's too much. I don't mind a few connections here and there, like, oh, this character was here, but they were also here, and this is before that or something. Okay, whatever. But like, when it's just like completely just like, we're just gonna, fuck it, just throw it against the wall. We have no effort. Like, why did you have to go back to the murder house? You had 2 freaking episodes of it, and it wasn't great, but I was willing to give it a chance, and I did. But like, it just, why? I don't want to ever see the murder house again, because unless you're gonna have all these original ghosts back, then what's the fucking point? And it just, I don't know. If you're gonna do a horror show, do a horror show. Enough of this wink, wink, nudge, nudge shit. Enough of this, like, overabundance on sex of all kinds, between men and women, women and women, guys and guys, whatever. Like, we don't. It's just excessive, like, to a ridiculous amount. Everyone's gonna have sex in this show, like, every 5 minutes, and it's like, I don't, or talk about sex, or just, you know, I mentioned the season 10 with the guys talking about eating ass. And I'm like, why are we hearing this shit? Like, I'm not a prude, but like, I don't. You're just freaking. You know, you watch Halloween, you don't have them talking about eating ass and shit like that. It's like they're trying to escape from a freaking killer. That's a simple story. Keep it fucking simple. I don't even mind if you're influenced by stuff. Obviously, Rosemary's Baby was an influence there and things like that. That's fine. If you're still telling your own freaking story, that's fine. But it's just, like I said, I'll still give season 2 more of a watch. Like I said, but other than the stupid witch twist, which I didn't like, Dollhouse was pretty good, and everything else in season 2 has been solid so far. But it's just like, please stop going back to what you've done before. You've done it a few times. You avoided it for most of the seasons until you got to Apocalypse, and now it just keeps being like these callbacks. And, oh, we'll connect it to this. And it's like, no, just stop. Just stop. Because to me, it's like if you don't have any more fun, original, clever ideas, then hand over the show reins to somebody else. Bring some fresh blood in, some better freaking writers, or better producers or something like that. Because you signed this long contract. I think they have like 3 or 4 more seasons coming out the next couple of years, and it's just like, does this get that good of ratings for it to have gotten that much of an extension? I don't know. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe people like to watch stuff just go worse and worse. But yeah, so overall, season 1 wasn't too bad. Outside, I'd say take out the murder house, basically all 3 of them, and the other 3 episodes weren't bad. But yeah, they just really need to focus on just original stories. Don't over-sensitize all this sex. And, you know, not too much on over-violence either. Although with horror, you kind of have to have some kind of violence or a haunting or something like that. But, yeah, and if you're going to do stuff like Murder House, you need to get the whole freaking cast back. Because you can't just be like, oh, well, suddenly this ghost is not there. No acknowledgement why this ghost suddenly got free and is no longer in this house that they're supposed to be trapped in. You know, it's just things like that that bug me. But let me tell you, me and Anna also, I'll just throw this in there too. Me and Anna watched this movie called What Josiah Saw. It was a Shudder original that has Robert Patrick. And it's a really messed up Southern American Gothic-y thing. It's a lot of twists and turns in there. And they're very disturbing twists and turns. But there's this one scene where, like, they're having a flashback, and it's literally just the way that lighting is literally just Robert Patrick going like this. And I was such a jerk. I was tucking Anna in the bed, and I just like opened the door and went in the dark. She got so mad. It was just funny. But yeah, so if you get a chance, check out Shudder. If you want a real horror, that's also got some kind of creepy twist to it. But check out What Josiah Saw, because it's pretty good watch. And Robert Patrick's really good. You know, T-1000 baby. Cool. So that is my review of American Horror Stories, the rest of the season 1, and What Josiah Saw. Just a quick little thing there. So this is all we're going to do for the channel this week, guys. I'll try to get back to reflections and things like that, and hopefully have Anna in some of these reviews too. So cool, guys. Just been busy, you know how it goes. All right. Have a good night.